Yeah, welcome to the Roaring Girls podcast. Yay!
Woo woo! Insert canned applause here.
Yeah, exactly. We've been away a little while, and we're back. This time it's personal. And we're talking about holidays, because, well, none of us are going to get one this year, so we might as well talk about them.
For the purposes of people listening, shall we do our standard intros and say who we are?
Nobody cares who we are. I don't even care who we are anymore.
Okay, fine.
But for the purposes of the record, today we are joined by Lizzie Perry.
Hello.
Sarah Penny.
Hiya.
And me, Rachel Abbey.
Boo.
All that is Perry. We're missing a Morley.
We are missing
Perry,
Morley.
Penny, Abby,
She's got better
Morley.
things to do of an evening.
Yeah.
But we are talking about holidays, so maybe she's better placed. Maybe she's putting her feet up.
Yeah, she's having a little cheeky break. Treat yourself. One of the things that we had a very brief chat about before we started this was the whole word staycation. And Lizzie, I feel, has some strong opinions.
I've got strong opinions on this. And I feel like people are going to disagree with me. And do you know what? I don't care because I'm correct. So you can think whatever you like, son. I get very frustrated. I think there's been a spate of articles and people online talking about, wow, we can't go abroad this year, so we're going to have a staycation. And then they're using the word staycation, which is an awful word anyway, and you shouldn't use it. But they're using the word staycation to just mean a holiday in the UK. That's not a staycation. A staycation is when you stay in your own house, but you have like a week off. Maybe you go do something local, like a day trip, or visit somewhere you wouldn't normally go to. But it's a holiday at home. You stay there, right? This whole lockdown is like a enforced staycation, right?
So we still have to work.
Yeah, that's true.
And we're not allowed anywhere of local interest.
All right, okay. It's different. The point is, going to a hotel in Devon, it's not a staycation, that's a holiday.
It's just a UK holiday.
Oh, see, I'm on Lizzie's side on this. I think a staycation is staying at home, doing a jigsaw, baking a cake. Yeah. Like, that's a staycation.
I'm glad
like making the most of it at home. Like, absolutely. Like if Lizzie said, if you go into like a hotel that's like 200 miles away, that's a holiday.
Yeah.
Like whether that 200 miles is in the UK or abroad, like.
I think it's a holiday if it's a few miles down the road, but if you're staying elsewhere, you know, like even if you go to the nearest coastline, but you're staying in a campsite, that's a holiday. But I'm glad we're on the same page because I feel like it's one of those things. It really doesn't matter. The articles mean what they mean. The word staycation is an awful word anyway. But guys, stop it. I don't know why it infuriates me, but it does. I think partly it's like I was very fortunate as a child. We went on a lot of holidays, and I realised I'm very, very lucky. But a lot of them were in a trailer tent in the UK. And if those don't count as holidays, then
what were you doing?
Then what was I doing? It's a holiday, even if you're in a tent in a field in Norfolk. Okay, that's still a holiday.
Yeah. I'm with you. I'm so with you on this, like 100%.
Good.
And I've done some great holidays, like in the UK. One of my absolute most memorable ones was at the end of uni. I lived in a house of 5 girls, and we were like, "Oh my gosh, we're gonna go to like Benidorm and have just like a real like cheap, tacky like go on the strip, like proper girls' week away." And then 2 of us were skint and the other 3 didn't have passports, and we're like, nah, problem. So we ended up going to Filey. Do you know what? It was great. We had basically like, it was called a cottage. It was a terraced house, but that's fine. And we just went and we just walked down to the beach every day, had a little bit of a walk around. We went on a pirate ship for £1, which was the best pirate ship. 10 out of 10 would recommend. And we ended up in what can only be described as like if a working men's club did cocktails, called Buccaneers. And it had a giant statue of a pirate. And I think that was the perfect way to end 3 years of high quality education. That's, yeah, I'm 100% behind that. You know what I mean?
I think that sounds great.
Yeah.
Honestly, great. The idea of you in the equivalent of a working man's pub, but with a cocktail, you do strike me as the sort of person who would go to a working man's club and be like, no, I'd like a cocktail, please. Drinking the fanciest drink.
Lizzie, I don't know if you know this about me, but I literally grew up next to a working men's pub, and we used to do all of our sixth form parties there.
Yeah.
And between the ages of 16 and 18, I almost exclusively drank cheeky V's. Because I am a classy lady, and I will not have a word said against them. Thank you.
To be fair, I feel like you've graduated to still enjoying a cocktail. You like a porn star martini or a espresso martini. It's that or cider. Like, I know what you're about, son.
You do. That is absolutely fair. But yeah, I've never done like a proper staycation before. Like a proper like, this is a week where I'm just going to do like nice things. Like, I've never done that before, and I feel the urge to do it come on very quickly. Like, they sound great.
I do. I love doing a jigsaw puzzle, and I think that's the one thing through lockdown. I've bought a jigsaw. I haven't started it yet, but it's going to be great, and I'm just waiting for the opportunity to get it on the dining room table and get it done.
Yeah. There's a real treat in going, do you know what? I'm not doing anything I'm supposed to do today. Today I'm going to do a puzzle, read a book, whatever it is that floats your boat. Bit different. Yeah.
See, when I was younger, we used to go on a lot of caravan holidays. We used to go down West Wales to Newquay, so not the Cornwall one, the West Wales version. And there's like dolphins and stuff. And you could there's like the beach down there, and they had the fun house, like the clubhouse, like on the campsite, like on the caravan site. And we would go over there and buy drinks, and we would dance. And they used to have fancy dress competitions. Can you guys hear me okay, by the way?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
We can hear you. I'm sure someone in the comment will say if not.
Great, that's fine. It's just my internet occasionally can just go out the window a little bit. So I just wanted to check that you can still hear me. And that I don't end up telling a story. And then I come back and you guys are like, so Spain. And I'm like, where are we?
I'd love if you just cut out and you just came back and you were like, and that's when the police arrived. And you're like, what?
The joys of recording in lockdown. But yeah, they used to have the fun house, and we'd go over there, and there was all these like dances, and there was Bradley Bear, you know, like the mascots and stuff. Well, there was a fancy dress competition once. So my mum's friend like plaited all of my hair because I wanted to go as Groovy Chick, like icon
Amazing.
of the 90s.
90s icon.
Oh yeah. So I had like a full Groovy Chick outfit. I plaited my hair and I put it up, and I went along and I went on the stage and I was like, I am Groovy Chick, right? And I felt like £1 million. I was like, oh my God, I've got this competition in the bag. And then my brother, who was 4 years younger than me, puts on a Bradley Bear t-shirt, like the merchandise from the shop, goes up all cute at like 5 and goes, I'm Bradley Bear. You want a certificate? I didn't get anything. And you know, to this day, I still hold a grudge.
But you're still bitter.
I've never felt the same about my brother since.
Oh my word.
So every time you tell a story from your childhood, I feel like I understand you psychologically just a little bit more.
Yeah, it just unlocks like a little bit within you. See, because we were fancy, we went to Haven.
Yes.
Oh girl. In Filey, and also we went to Haven because you're allowed to take your dog. Bam. So we could take our pet Ben and Whitby. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Whitby because there was Whitby Abbey. Bam. But yeah, we had a lovely time. But like, I definitely like, there was definitely like groups of people who like have friends or family who own static caravans, and they're always at them, and that is what I aspire to.
Yes.
To have like a little holiday spot,
Yes.
a caravan or a little cottage, somewhere to just...
My mate Shona has the most beautiful log cabin over like in Arnside way, and it is stunning. Like, it is, chef's kiss, honestly, the nicest place. And we went for a little like night away there, and honestly, if I could live there, I would. Like, it was ideal.
I love it. Have either of you ever been camping?
Yes.
Yeah.
See, I've only ever been camping once, I think. My mum's listening. My mum will correct me, probably.
Yeah.
Your mum is in the comments writing excellent anecdotes.
Oh no, what she said now.
She put, and I did start laughing halfway through Rachel's anecdote because I saw it, and I apologise. In reference to your delightful story about the about not winning the Groovy Chick costume prize, she's put, and I want a certificate for putting the most marshmallows in my mouth.
Dawn Penny, I need to know, what do you call that game? Because where I'm from, we call it Chubby Bunnies.
See, it's Fluffy Bunny.
Okay.
So she got up with this woman. Oh, my mother will tell you this story the next time she sees you, I'm sure. But my nana, my lovely dear old nana, was sat in the audience of like my mum on stage, her and this woman going for it, chucking loads of marshmallows in their mouth and going, Fluffy Bunny, Fluffy Bunny. And my nana's going, she's cheating, she's swallowing them, about the other woman. And I'm like, will you just calm down, Nan? This is a fun family holiday. My nana wanted my mum to have that prize so much. She was like calling the other woman out.
I love it.
Incredible.
That's a great vibe. Love it.
Going back to the whole camping thing, Demelza said, we used to camp every single year at the Edinburgh Festival. Camping in August in Scotland, do not recommend.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I definitely remember camping trips where you'd wake up and you'd accidentally leant on the inner side of the tent, which pushes it to the outer side of the tent, which lets all the water in.
When I was...
Sorry.
Go on.
I know, I was just going to say, we did a lot of, almost camping. I mean, it was camping. We had a trailer tent. So like the vast majority of my childhood holidays were in trailer tent, which if you're not familiar, packs up into a trailer. So you feel like you've got a caravan, but you've still got to put it up like a tent. But it basically means you're in a tent, but you're sleeping on a table, so you're not on the ground. So it's a little bit of luxury. And my overriding memories are we used to play Monopoly a lot because it would rain, obviously, because most of our holidays were UK or like Northern France or somewhere, and we had like, sometimes it'd be lovely, sometimes it would rain for a week. And so we'd play Monopoly, and the Monopoly game would last the whole week we were there. We'd just leave the board out on the table and come back to it.
We can't do that when you've got a dog though.
Yeah, no, well, we
learned that the hard way.
Fortunate enough to not have a dog. I don't know if that's the right.
You see, I once, as a girl guide, had to do for some sort of badge. I don't even know what the badge was, but whatever. Had to like build your own accommodation, which basically they're like build some sort of tent. And I did such a bad job that I started like violently shivering in the middle of the night and had to be let into like the local hut to warm out and dry out.
Oh my God.
I was so bad at it. But last year I went camping with some mates in the summer when we were allowed out. And I went again with Shona, she's coming up again. And her tent was beautiful and it felt like luxury because I had a blow-up mattress.
Oh,
game changer, honestly. Like, that camp trip was so much fun, like so good, but I swear to God, I don't understand how a blow-up mattress can make things so much better.
So you're not having to sleep on the lumpy ground. It's because you've not got.
I was going to say,
because you've not been like, the roll mat will make me feel comfortable. It's a thin layer of foam. Yes, that's exactly the same as a mattress. Thank you.
Honestly, 10 out of 10 would recommend.
See, when I went camping, I was about 7 years old, and there was a dog there as well. It wasn't my dog; it was my friend's dog. And me and this girl were really good friends at the time. That's another story. And yeah, 7 years old, her mum drove us down to this camping site. And when we got there, she let me get out of the car, walk round to the front of the car, hold on to the bonnet, and drove me through the campsite, swerving the car. So my legs were swinging all over the shop. And at 7, I was like, this is so much fun. Like at 27, I'm like, oh my God, death could have been imminent. But at the time, I had a great time. But we had the tent and we set it all up. And it was one of those ones where it was like a room for us and a room for her parents. Well, anyway, cut to dead of night, cold, Wales. I need a wee, and I'm only 7. And I was like, I can't go to the toilet by myself, you know, because I'm only 7. So I thought, oh, I'll go outside. I'll wee outside the tent. And then I realized it was cold and I was frightened and that there might be ghosts. And so I was like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to interrupt the ghosts of the campsite. Well, anyway, I squatted down in the corner.
In the tent?
In the tent. I put some of my clothes. I put some of my clothes underneath me and just pissed into the clothes. And then felt the, you know, sweet sense of relief of an empty bladder and got back into bed. Well, the next day, my friend woke up and was like, God, it smells of piss in here. And I went, oh, the dog. It was the dog in the middle of the night, in the dead of night. And I blamed it on the dog. And so if she ever sees this or hears this, and she won't, but if she does, I'm really sorry. It wasn't Tinkerbell, it was me.
Oh my God.
You're an animal, do you know that?
What? There's
so much to unpack there.
There's almost logic there. And yet it swerves away. Oh, well, I don't want to wake anyone up and I'm scared to go outside. So I'll wee on my own clothes.
To be fair, I'm really, really proud that at 7 years old, I had the presence of thought to piss on my dirty laundry.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say you were really proud of that decision. And I was going to be like, hun, you should not be. But yeah, okay, actually, if we're looking for silver linings, yeah, you went on the dirty clothes. An even smarter 7-year-old would have pissed on someone else's clothes.
That's the takeaway from this podcast.
And I've never been, oh, no, I did. What a liar. One of my best friends from Wales, Laura, she lived up the road from my from my house, and she put a tent up in the back garden one summer, and we were like, we're going to sleep in the tent overnight. So we got into the tent and we zipped ourselves up, got a blanket, all warm and cozy. Well, round the corner from my house and where my mum now is, there is a hospital for mentally unwell people. And the night that we both slept in the garden and we were frightened, again, because danger, a patient escaped from the facility and was running wild in the streets around the area. So all we could hear as we were trying to tell ourselves, there's nothing to be scared of. There's nothing to be scared of. We're safe and warm. We're safe and warm. Was just somebody screaming and lots of torches and lots of shouting. And so we ran back in the house and jumped into her bed. And I've never slept in a tent again.
It does sound like they didn't catch you. So success. That's my takeaway from this. Wow. I mean, just wow, Sarah. Oh, all of my I don't have any holiday stories that match that now. I'm really sad.
I don't think anyone has any holiday things that will match that ever.
I remember there's like an infamous within my family holiday known as the back holiday. It's really bad that I'm not remembering any like fun activities we did. I'm remembering staying inside in the rain and you know, my dad having an injured back. But we went, I think we must have gone to France or somewhere, and like we drove over, got the ferry, drove over, and we had to stop in pretty much every single lay-by so that my dad could get out and stretch his back because he'd injured himself, which at the time I was like, a funny story. We had to stop in all the lay-bys. Now I'm realizing that must have been such a frustrating thing for my parents to have to stop every few minutes. And also, like, now that I'm in my 30s, I'm like, oh yeah, no one wants to sit in a car on the way to France when they've got a sore back. Whew. So well done to my dad for being a trooper, but it is known as the back holiday.
Oh my gosh, can I just say, when
Yeah.
you were saying about stopping in every lay-by, it shows how different our families were, because we had a car full of people with IBS. So our stop in a lay-by was slightly different to yours.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Not
My
quite that,
word.
no.
Have you guys ever had a holiday from hell?
No.
Well, apart from that time my mum nearly drowned.
Oh,
Yeah. Which, if you
might need some context
Beach
for
Body
that.
Ready, then you'll be very confused right now.
I'd love it if we just breeze past that. Oh yeah, my mum nearly died, but other than that,
yeah,
everything was peachy.
Very quickly, then, Sarah Penny, for those that haven't heard.
Yeah, if you haven't seen Beach Body Ready, then basically what happened was my mum, my brother and my sister all went parasailing. It was lovely. It was going really, really well. We all went up in the air. We're having a great time. And then my mother went up. And the guy, like, trying to make us as the children feel comfortable with the fact we were sat in a boat with two strange men in the middle of the sea and my mum was in the air, he decided he'd play like a bit of a trick. And he tried to slow down the boat so my mother could, like, gracefully fall into the sea. And then, like, he speed the boat back up and, like, she'd fly back up into the sky. So he tried that. But what happened was, as he slowed down the boat, my mother plummeted, like, from the sky. It was like throwing a bag of potatoes out of a plane. It was just like, poof. She landed in the sea and the parachutes engulfed her. She started to drown. And then they had to dive into the sea and, like, use knives and stuff to cut her free. And then we couldn't get her back in the boat because the boat didn't have a ladder. And so my mother just sat, like, was treading water, being like, everything's fine, kids. And she was being stung by jellyfish, like, all from the waist down. And eventually a guy on a jet ski came, picked her up. She managed to get him into the sea as well. But then they went back off to shore. And so then me, my brother and my sister were just sat in this little boat, with these two men who would soak to the bone after trying to save my mother's life. But I'm pleased to say she's alive. So that was great. But we've never gone parasailing after that. And I don't think we would.
she's alive and she's in the comments.
What about you, Rachel? Have you had a holiday from hell?
I think we did have quite a rough holiday, like, when I was a kid. And it was at Disneyland Paris.
Oh, yes.
The place of dreams. And so we'd gone with, like, some family friends and their kids as well, and we were like, oh my god, we're gonna do this, it's gonna be amazing. And we got on, and basically I think what happened is my parents had just, like, the other family were like, we'll sort everything, you should pay us and we'll figure it out. And they're like, okay, yeah, great. So my parents handed over the money, and so we drove over to Hull. First time I ever went to Hull when I was a kid. Got on the ferry and it was, like, one of, like, the posh rooms. Like, it wasn't, like, just like, there's two beds and that's it. Like, it was like an actual room. And we were like, oh, I see. So we were like, this is lovely, what a dream. So we get over to mainland Europe and we drive to Disneyland Paris. And we get there and we are in the Davy Crockett Ranch, which is basically like the self-catering, like, places at Disneyland. It's a bit of a drive out, and they're all supposed to look like little cute little, like, log huts kind of thing. We get there and there are, like, holes in the walls where people have, like, punched through the walls. And we were like, okay, interesting. We'd gone for New Year, so it was, like, frozen to the bone cold. Like, it was unreal. Anyway, we get over there and we're like, accommodation's not great. That is fine. We'll work it out. Like, we're gonna enjoy Disneyland. So it gets to, like, the day before New Year's Eve. My dad's car breaks down. And you can't just take it to any old garage because it needs a really specific, model-specific piece that is only available, like, a 2-hour drive away or something ridiculous. So my dad is like, basically he's having to keep the revs up on the car to keep it moving, otherwise it's going to stop. And so we'd been out for the day, we come back and my dad's like keeping the revs up to try and like keep the car going. And we're at like, you know, those big like blockade things.
This is really great for anyone listening. Rachel is miming one of those like arms, like a metal arm that comes down to stop you driving through somewhere.
Yeah.
Down. I think that's what she's doing.
And the audio description for that is thank you. And so we get to like that at the entrance of where we're staying, and the car in front is evidently having some sort of issue, like whether they weren't supposed to be there, whether there was, I don't know what was going on, but they were being annoying. But then my dad was having to keep the revs up even though we were standing still, so he's being really noisy, and the guy, he's getting like really like annoyed because we're keeping the revs up, and he's like, and my dad's like trying in French to be like, I need to do this. Anyway, the car in front, don't know what happened, just sets off through the barrier, bam. And we were like, what do we do now? So my dad's then again keeps the revs up, like we literally have to like go past this guy, get to the accommodation. The next day it's New Year's Eve and we're like, sick, there's going to be like the most incredible fireworks, it's going to be like Disney heaven, like I'm here for it. And obviously a lot of families, because it's New Year's, it's Christmas, it's Disney, it's beautiful. The problem is when you've got little kids like to go to sleep. But the parents like, I've spent so much money to get here, we are not going back to the hotel, you are staying here until New Year's Eve, like midnight. So it gets to like 7, 8 o'clock at night, and literally Main Street, which during the day is like all lit up, like beautiful confectionery in the windows, like merchandise, like characters, literally looks like something out of like Apocalypse. Like now it's awful, like there's just mothers and children like asleep in doorways, and like everyone's just waiting for these massive fireworks, and we're like wandering around like a ghost town because they stopped all the rides because normally the park's closed by now. So it was just like wandering around this like desolate park. The fireworks go off, nothing special, and then everyone leaves, and we're just like,
oh, that's such an
what was
anticlimax.
that? Yeah, I was just like, what is happening? But my parents definitely had the worst holiday when they were about my age, and I still tell this story now nearly every time I got on a plane. I'm like, let me tell you about my parents. So about our age, parents get on the plane, first thing, the airline loses their luggage.
Oh.
They get to Spain or wherever they are, and they're like, right, here's 20 euros, just get some stuff to like put you on for the time being. So my mum was like, okay, fine. A few days pass, they get their luggage, and my mum's like, sick, let's go. So she put on a teeny tiny bikini, because my mum, I mean, she's still beautiful, but as a young woman, oh god damn. So she puts on like the teeniest tiniest bikini, gets straight out there without any factor anything on, burns everything apart from 4 tiny triangles. So then she's like in bed for the next few days with the worst like sunstroke of her life. Finally she can like keep water down, so she's like, right, let's go out for like a nice meal. She's got like a big caftan on, she's like, this is fine. Gets bitten by an infected mosquito, comes up with lumps all over her body, like filled with this liquid, and she's just like, what the hell is happening? When she gets back to the UK, her doctor was like, we're sending you to the hospital to have one of these like cut open and drained because we don't know what's in that. We have never seen this before.
Oh,
wow.
God damn.
So she was patient zero for some.
Yeah, some weird thing like in the late 80s.
Your poor mum. That does not sound fun.
Like rough. But me and my mum are very similar in that we get bitten by everything. We're very tasty ladies.
I didn't like to say in public, but
And I definitely, like, when I went to coffee a few years ago, it took like months for my bites to go down. Like, there were so many.
yeah, tasty blood.
Mm-hmm. You know a girl. But yeah, like, there's nothing worse than a bad holiday because it's just such an anticlimax, isn't it?
Definitely. I mean, Demelza on our Facebook has put the best one that they had was coming back from a disaster of a holiday in Brittany to find out that their cat had been stolen.
Oh,
That's
God.
heartbreaking.
That is not what anyone needs coming back from a holiday. Oh, my God.
So horrible.
That is awful. I've never had anything like that, luckily.
No.
I've always brought animals home with me, but I have never lost an animal whilst I've been away, thankfully. Yeah. I've never had many pets, though, so.
I had sea monkeys as a kid, and we went to Menorca for a week, and my uncle thought it was just dirty water and chucked them down the loo.
Oh no. That's
Thanks,
horrible.
Bill.
Whoops. What about more recent escapades then? Anyone I mean, I realise we can't have holidays right now, but anyone want to reminisce about a recent holiday?
I've still got scars from my last holiday, both emotional and physical.
Do we want to know what you got up to?
Honestly, so me and my mate Ben got into the sea and it was really rough, and I was like, I think if we get a bit further in, it'll be fine. No, wrong. Like literally the words washed up on shore come to mind. And I got such a bad and deep cut on my leg. There's a scar, like it is real, like it happened. And I genuinely thought I was going to drown, like to the point where I had to and I'd like to point out that I was in maybe this much water. Like,
it doesn't take much.
Exactly, it only takes a couple inches. Do you know what I mean? Behave yourself. Both of you behave yourselves. But honestly, I was like, I'm going to die. I'm getting out now. And I have the most incredible picture of Ben, like Little Mermaid, you know, with the splash behind. It's beautiful.
That is a thing of beauty. It's a thing of beauty.
So I had a really lovely, the one that springs to mind for me was in, I want to say it was like 2017. And I went to Barcelona. Lovely. My friend at the time was living out there, lucky sod. And I'd gone to stay with him for a month or so. And so while I was there, I was studying Spanish at uni at the time, you know, doing a few hours a week as one of my modules alongside my degree. And I thought, perfect. Now is the perfect time for me to practice my Spanish, put it to good use, speak with native speakers. So I was like really nervous all the time. And I would say sí to everything. I was like, sí. Every time they'd ask me anything in the shop, I was like, sí. And then I'd realize that they'd give me like a carrier bag. And I was like, okay, great. And then like pick things up. Well, one day, they around the corner from where he lived, there was this incredible chicken shop. It was like the Spanish version of KFC. It was like rotisserie chicken and the juice dripping down onto these trays of potatoes at the bottom. And I went in and I was like, you know what? I can order food. I feel really confident about this. I can do this. I'm going to do it in Spanish. So I walked in full of gusto, went over and I was like, hola. And I was like, me gustaría un gran polla con patatas, por favor. And this woman looked at me like I'd gone into her house and shat in her pillowcase. And she was
you've got a history of
doing that,
of doing such things in indoors, as we found out. Sorry.
Yes. That's for another podcast.
Okay.
But she looked at me and she was like, what? Well, I mean, she said K. And then... So I repeated myself and she went, oh, chica, you don't want that. And then I realized that in Spanish, chicken is pollo and dick is polla. So I'd ask for a large dick and chips.
And
I wish, I really wish she'd just gone, Juan, and like this guy had come out.
Could you maybe write it down? I want to know how to order a large dick and chips for next time I go on.
Yeah. Well, after
Sometimes
that,
you want a snack afterwards.
I went really British, and I was like, after that, I just stopped speaking Spanish. I was like, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I was like, I didn't know what to do. I just panicked.
Oh, I feel like you need points for trying.
I know, bless me. But yeah, I couldn't show my face in there again. So my friend had to go in for me. But I was proud for myself for trying.
You know what? And trying is all that matters. Like, you are very trying.
Yeah, my mum says that to me all the time.
But I feel like you have to at least give the language a whack when you are like in a different country. Like I did French and German to A level. So I love languages. I find them really interesting. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. But when I was in like year 7, year 8, I think it's probably year 8, I did French exchange. And I turned up and I was like, yeah, and I was just a bit overwhelmed and I had a little bit of a cry and it was fine. But a couple of days into the trip, we went to Static Caravan in North France.
Yes.
Because they had one and they just went like every weekend. I was like, this is great. And I was like, I feel really sick. Like, I feel really sick. So I was like sat in the loo of this tiny like Static Caravan. And I was like thumbing through my like help like dictionary thing. Phrase dictionary.
Me and Sarah didn't know where that was going. Carry on.
Yeah. And I was like going through it. And I just heard this little knock at the door. She's like, Rachel? And I was had to
10
go.
out of 10 for the French accent.
Thanks. And I was like looking at her, I just went, Je suis constipée. And I came out and she just gave me an Activia yogurt and was like, it'll be okay.
Aww. I also did French exchange. It wasn't quite that traumatic. I had a lovely time. But what I hadn't realised until I got there, until I was at the house I was staying at, was that my French exchange partner, she was lovely and we got on perfectly fine and like we had a lovely time, but they didn't speak French at home because her parents were Moroccan. They spoke Arabic at home, and so I hadn't appreciated until I got there that like my French wasn't excellent, but I could at least understand what was happening. I had no idea what was happening at their house, and I was like, oh, I'm like, maybe I should have been smart enough to work it out from like having met her and written her letters and known that was where her family were from. But I didn't think of it, and they made very little effort to talk to me in anything. They would occasionally say something to me like, it's lunchtime, and I'd be like, fab, and I'd be like, great, I heard the word lunch, that's French, lunch, great. Anything that I didn't understand, I was like, maybe they're talking about me, probably not, but I hadn't realized until I was there, and I was like, oh no. So it was great for most of the time, and then I just sat there a lot in their house going, I don't know how to talk to you.
Yeah,
their English wasn't great, so it wasn't like the common language was a language that was neither of our first language.
Yeah, gosh.
That's the thing.
Wasn't great.
When you go to like European countries or things like that, you can have a stab, like you can have a little handbook, you can have a go, or like some words sound a little bit similar, so you can sort of start figuring it out. And I was really, really lucky a couple of years ago, went to Tokyo, and there is nothing quite like just not being able to read anything. Like it is one of those things that you go, I'd never experienced going to a country where I couldn't even hazard a guess or have a stab at how something is pronounced. And the people in Tokyo are so wonderful. Like they're so gentle and generous with you and will help you. And we did learn some phrases. We learned, please, thank you, hello, goodbye, and the bill, please. Like that seemed like the most important thing. But being there and just not being able to understand anything was equally awesome and terrifying, like absolutely petrifying. But it was great.
I've also been to Tokyo. When I was a student, we took a show over to Tokyo, which was a fantastic experience, and like had such a good time. You're absolutely right. Like it does feel it's the most foreign place I've been, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Like it feels the most alien, and I think a big part of that is that it's a different different alphabet. But the good thing about it is, although even if you're very little language, the useful thing about Japanese is that if you're in a place where they've written it out in the like Latin alphabet, all of the sounds are the same, so you don't have that thing that you have in like English where like, oh, how do I pronounce this vowel? It could be anything. Like if it's in like the Latin like Roman alphabet, like you're like, yeah, I can have a go at this. And also I think culturally like very polite, like culturally, so like if you just point, they understand, like they don't take it as rude, they are very good, so like it's doable. Like I recommend it if you're ever fortunate enough to be in a position to go.
I was going to say, I've not been to Japan. However, if anyone wants to sponsor me to go over to Japan, we'll link the PayPal. You can just write Rachel's Holiday Fund on there. That'd be great.
We'll get you to go to the Disney out there and you can compare it to Paris.
Yes, that is literally my dream. Do not play with me.
Oh, it was great.
Actually, what would your dream holiday be?
I mean,
I've been planning.
Oh God.
Go on, you go for it, Rach, and me and Lizzie will have a bit of thinking time.
So I've decided if I won the lottery, and I'm talking Euro millions, obviously, like the regular lottery is not going to cover this. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, is this a? I'm not playing the UK lottery. I want Euro money only.
I want that Euro money. Thank you. Good day. I have basically there's this website, and you go on it, and you can like plot like which cities you want to visit across the world, and it will tell you kind of like how far away they are from each other, and it basically helps you to plan your trip around the world, which is what I want to do with my Euro millions money. So I found, I think it was 84 cities that I wanted to go to, and found like the path that I want to go to. Highlight for me include Russia. I have a weird fascination with Russia. I find the place very interesting.
I do want to go, and we've talked about this before. I do want to get on a train and do Trans-Siberian, like.
We've said that we'll do the Trans-Siberian Express for our 40th birthdays. So
I mean, you say that like I'm going to have the money to do that. You can do it and take a picture of me.
So we need to get saving. We've only got 10 years. You've got 9. Good luck.
Rub it
in. Really interested to go there. I really want to go to the Maldives. Like I have got mates who have been there, and it literally just looks like paradise. Like it looks stunning. I want to go there. Hong Kong and Tokyo, both really high up there. I'm a little bit concerned about Thailand just because there's a lot of peanuts in their food. I am very allergic. I'll probably walk off the plane and have an immediate allergic reaction. I prefer to go to New Zealand rather than Australia because spiders.
Do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
You've been, haven't you?
I've been to, very luckily as a teenager, I got to go. We did Australia, New Zealand. New Zealand is gorgeous. But also like slightly familiar, like it is a little bit like going to Wales, but they've got funny accents, like funnier accents than the Welsh, obviously. Like it feels like it's green and rural, and like that's great. Big 10 out of 10. We also, interestingly enough, stopped over on the way and went via Thailand. We did 24 hours in Thailand, and we don't have peanut allergies, so it's not the problem that you had. But one of the greatest meals I've ever had, because we just were like, take us to the food, and they took us to the food, and it was food.
That sounds incredible.
And
then I want to do Canada. I want to do various parts of America, and I want to do Mexico. The furthest I've travelled is Corfu. I know you guys have been a lot further than I have, but honestly, like one day I feel like I'll get there.
Yeah,
because
I would love to travel more, but just never had the opportunity. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think especially these days with like Airbnb and Skyscanner and like all of these incredible resources you can use online, you can actually travel really cheaply now. And I'm not saying that therefore that means everybody can do it, But, you know, if you're smart and sensible about the way that you book it, you can save an awful lot of money rather than just booking it through a provider. So I think that travel has opened up so much more to people now than it used to, definitely.
100%.
See, I really like the idea of the Maldives as well, or the Bahamas, or Bora Bora, like that whole palm tree island in the middle of the sea, just like alone, like nobody bothering me. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Amazing.
This is the thing,
yeah.
like the whole backbone of this trip is that I would fly out different people to different locations. So I'm never traveling alone, but I travel with different people for each different place.
So I'm your pick for the Maldives, obviously.
You're the pick for the Maldives. Liz is the pick for the Trans-Siberian Express.
Yeah, I was going to say, look, the Maldives, like, they look beautiful. I think I would die. I don't do well in heat. Like, dream holiday, get me to the frozen north. Like, I'm talking, I want to see the Northern Lights. I want to stay in an ice hotel. Like, take me down some fjords. Not a euphemism unless you want it to be. Like, like, I love the idea of, like, the palm trees and this blue sea and the white sand, but in reality I think I would just become a sweaty globule and I wouldn't have a great, like, I'd just be like, I'd need a fan on me all the time, whereas I can get to being wrapped up warm and like looking at a frozen snowscape. That's my dream. That's my dream holidays.
The comments are gold right now. Emily said that she lived in France for 3 months, couldn't speak a word of it, had to ring her dad from a restaurant one day to find out how to ask how to pay. Dawn said, you did a lot of travelling. Were your parents drug runners, Lizzie? Simon and Sarah, what were you like?
Yeah, so any drugs that can be transported from New Zealand, a haven of like sure. I mean, we really didn't do a lot of holidays. There was like the first time I'd been in a plane and we went to Australia. So this wasn't, we did do a lot of local holidays. We did not do a lot of international travel. But yeah, my parents have got the good drugs. If you want to call them, I'll drop my mum's number in the chat.
And Demelza says her ideal holiday is boring, somewhere warm in a castle or something, and flying all of her friends there.
That's
I think
nice.
that sounds great. I think that sounds a dream.
Great.
As long as we're invited to Demelza, that's fine. That works for us.
Oh, I really want a holiday now.
I know. One day we'll go on holiday again. Honestly, for a holiday in the UK, I have naught but one requirement.
Go on.
Hot tub.
That is such a specific requirement.
I could be anywhere. If there's a hot tub, I'm on holiday. Thank you, good day.
See, the last couple of years, my holiday has been I go and see my parents, and that counts as a holiday because they live in Cornwall, so therefore it's a holiday destination.
I'd love to go to Cornwall. I've never been.
Mate, come down with me one day. Like next week. No, when in the summer when we're allowed out, we'll go down. We'll have my parents will have to put up with you.
Perfect.
I went camping in Truro when I was 16. Such a good holiday. Like, just went with my mates after GCSE. No, it was after A levels. We weren't allowed to go anywhere when we were 16.
You were allowed to go places.
No, we weren't allowed. You met me. We weren't allowed anywhere. But yeah, we went to Truro and we went to the Cornish Rattler cider factory, and that was the best day of my life. Thank you. Good day.
They make good cider down there.
Further questions?
They make good cider. Also, Cornish gin, I can recommend.
Oh,
that's what we need to do. Like, listen, we need to do like a Roaring Girls holiday exchange, and we travel to each other's home places, or maybe not exactly our home areas.
I was going to say, welcome to Bradford. Like,
I was going to say, yeah, also with me, welcome to Neath. No, but we'll go to Wales near where I live, and I'll take you around, and we can do that for all of us.
Yeah, but that's the same with my parents. My parents don't live on the beach. Like, you know, you'd have to travel. You have to go from there to the nice places nearby. But yeah, 100%. I would happily go on holiday to Nice. I'd happily go on holiday to Bradford, although Bradford is more day trip area, let's be honest.
Yeah. And let me tell you, I can show you a lovely time around Sunbridge Wells and the what's the museum, the Media Museum. What a dream.
See, I've never properly been to Bradford. I've been like through Bradford. I've never stopped and
curries
appreciated it.
are like next level. Like it's just unreal. It's so good.
I mean, I would say like best places for a UK holiday, go to Edinburgh when it's not the summer. Like the summer is a bit busy because of the festivals, but Edinburgh, whew,
Edinburgh's
10 out of 10.
beautiful. I love like Scarborough, Whitby, Bridlington. Like it's
Like
what
a
I've grown up on.
Classic seaside town.
Yeah.
Oh, see, for me, I really like York, and I really like
York's beautiful.
Lincoln, and just those cities like Durham, like the ones that are like those proper medieval UK
Historical.
cities, like those are gorgeous. They always have good pubs, which is, I mean, let's be honest, what I'm pretty much looking for when I'm on holiday is a decent pub.
100%.
Yeah.
But yeah, York is probably one of my favourite places to go for a couple of nights.
Nice.
Love York, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And also Hull, everyone should come and infuse the economy with visitors to Hull.
Yeah.
It's not just the deep anymore.
Or as the t-shirts say, come to Hull, it's not shit anymore. Which is my favourite thing, because I remember Hull when I was a child, because my family's from Hull, for people who don't know. I know I don't sound like
Don't let the accent fool you.
And yeah, I mean, I just love Hull.
Yeah.
I do.
To be
I really
fair,
do.
Hull. I miss Hull.
you're coming back, it'll be fine.
Be right. Oh, well, now I really want to go on holiday. So go team. We'll be holding out waiting for Boris's next announcement. As soon as we're like, can we go yet? Can we go? Can we go on holiday?
I mean, I think the people in the quarantine hotels, that's the true staycation. I think that's the
next level staycation. Like, my word. Although, is it bad that there's a little bit of me that's like, I want that?
Oh, well, you want to be locked in a hotel and given food instead of having to be in lockdown at home?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love hotels.
To be fair, hotels are great, but I think it takes on another dimension when you've not chosen to be in that hotel and you're at the mercy of, you can't leave.
Yeah, no, I still think I like that. Like, I really like hotels.
I do enjoy a hotel. Like, I'm still very excited if I get to go somewhere and I have to stay in a hotel.
Yeah. I feel so excited. So fancy.
The main thing,
even if it's like a budget hotel, you do think like, oh,
yeah,
this is the lap of luxury.
I just executive realness, like my word.
Yeah.
It really is. I love for me, the biggest thing is when I go away, my only requirement for a hotel room is that it has a bath. And it can be the tiniest bath, the most shallow bath you've ever seen. It doesn't matter, because I don't have a bath at home. And so when I go on holiday, it's the only time I get to go and enjoy a bath. And I've had some great baths in some hotels, but like maybe I need to start a review, like hotel baths, the Sarah Penny review. And I can just like go around and they can give me a room for the night just so I can try out the bath. Oh my God, I found my dream job.
Didn't you go to a hotel where there was a bath on the rooftop?
That was incredible.
That photo is saved on my phone and it pops up all the time and I feel very weird about it.
We all know why you've got that image saved in your phone, Rachel.
Say nothing.
That was amazing. That was in Clerkenwell in London. There's a hotel there. And yeah, it's the fancy room essentially, because we went for an anniversary, splashed out a bit, was like, oh, it's a special occasion. And it had a bath on the roof. So I got a Lush bath bomb. I went down to Oxford Street and I picked up like a couple of bath bombs and I went. And there is something really strange though about having a bath in the middle of the day with the grey London skyline, with the grey clouds, but you still feel like the most glamorous thing in the world. It's great.
How many people overlooked the bath?
It's yet to be confirmed.
A lot of people have got that picture on their phone.
There's only been 4 pictures leaked online. No, luckily it was very like secluded and stuff, so that was good. Although one day we were a bit worried because there was some builders working not too far away.
Wow.
With binoculars.
Sure
It's
they'd have
very
enjoyed
strange.
it.
Yeah, could have given them a show.
Yeah.
Ah, well. But yeah, I'm quite an easy person to please in terms of hotels. Has it got a bath? Done. Do I have to sleep in a cupboard? Fine. Like, I'll sleep in the bath and have the bath. Like, that's fine with me as long as it's got one.
I mean,
Yeah.
sleep in the bath, hot tip if you're at a house party and need somewhere to sleep.
I've done that before now, and I went to a fancy dress party and I woke up with a guy dressed as Mrs. Doubtfire taking a wee next to my head.
Oh, yeah, you don't let other people in.
Yeah.
But I definitely, as a teenager, slept in a couple of baths because you'd be like, well, I'm not sleeping on the floor. That's uncomfortable. Bathtub it is. Does that count as a staycation, lads?
That is the roughest staycation.
Sleep in a different room in the house.
Duh. Has anyone else got to the point of lockdown where you're like, I might sleep on the sofa just for a change of scenery when I wake up?
I did have a nap on the sofa the other day. I don't think that counts. And I don't fit on my sofa. It's a small sofa. So my
That's a day
torso was
trip.
on the sofa and my legs were just dangling. It was quite comfy.
Oh, dear. Yeah. Oh, this lockdown got me acting crazy, yeah.
I think it's just
got us all.
revealing your true nature. And on that note.
And on that note, I think that is a good time to finish this podcast before we completely dive into the realms of the unknown. Lizzie, Sarah, thank you as always for being an absolute delight.
Thank you.
Yeah, let's get booking that holiday.
Yeah, if anyone's got some frequent flyer miles we can use or
Or
the
if you-
hookup with the hotel in the Maldives.
Yeah. Or just a shed. That'll do. I'll take anything.
A shed. As long as it's got a bathtub, shed with a bath in.
Yeah,
Bam.
Sorted.
We are
We are
gals.
not classy ladies.
Thanks for listening, gang, and watching. Thanks for commenting and people joining in. Really appreciate
Yeah.
it.
And we'll leave you in peace to enjoy the rest of your Saturday night. Thank you ever so much.
Bye, guys. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh no, I need to find the button to stop it.
Oh no.
Oh, shall we just sit
Sarah.
here looking pretty whilst you
Why
can't
does this
stop
always
it?
happen? Oh, damn it. Wait. I've got
Have
it.
you?
Goodbye, everyone, officially. This is us leaving now. Good night.